intellect and awakening mankind, giving them consciousness, so that man will evolve, conquer nature, and then eventually become a god. That's the Luciferian doctrine.
Yep.
And then you could look at it atheistically, metaphorically, which still has the same concept, that man is evolving and will become a god. And so when Peter Joseph says, "You are a god," he outs himself as a Luciferian New Ager, because once you read the Luciferian occult works of these New Agers and Theosophists, they're all teaching the same thing. You're a god. Man is becoming God. Men are potential gods, and when the age of Aquarius comes, we'll all be gods. That's the Luciferian doctrine. So the fact that the creator of Zeitgeist pushes that, man, oh man, that should be a red flag right there.
And see, Satan told Eve too, if you take of the fruit, you yourself can become a god.
Exactly.
And that's where it started from, and that's right there, saying you can become a god. That's yep. Pure Luciferian. Whether you're a Luciferian or not, you're still pushing the Luciferian doctrine.
Yeah, and isn't it interesting that these supposed ascended masters that New Agers communicate are always telling people that you're a god, when in fact that's what Satan taught. So shouldn't that indicate that these aren't really ascended masters, but they're just fallen angels
yep.
working for Satan?
Absolutely.
I don't see how people can't see that, you know?
I don't either. I mean, it just amazes me. It really does. I mean, when God gives directions, that's why Jesus spoke in parables, because he knew right. We lived in an ADD society back then and to now. You know, he spoke in so many different ways to make you really understand what he's talking about. And it's so easy that a kid could understand it. And these people who call themselves Christians, believers in Christ, I just don't understand it. They can't concept his instructions, you know, and it really... Right. It's really amazing, and then they try to dictate biblical verses, twist them around to say, oh no, this is what he really meant, you know, the New Age versions of the Bible, you know, twist the Bible around and everything else, and just to fit this New Age movement. Right.
Yeah, they often twist the scriptures to try and make it sound that it promotes the
yep.
New Age, when in fact that concept wasn't even around yet. They like to twist Matthew 28:20, which says, "I'll be with you even till the end of the age."
Yep.
And what I did in the film is I demonstrated that this isn't talking about the astrological age of Pisces,
yeah.
like the New Agers would like you to believe. It was a Jewish age, Ha'olom Hazeh and Ha'olom Haba, which has nothing to do with astrology. And so these people just don't know what they're talking about, you know?
Exactly. Yeah,
it's not that it's sad, it's just that it's really deceptive. It's like, it's a strong delusion, I think, you know?
Oh, it is, and it's, and again, these people, I don't credit these people, but these people are very genius people that know how to scientifically dictate things to make it sound like good, or a good cause. It says here in the Bible, or like it was confronted a 33-degree Freemason who believed in we are gods. He goes, well, God says, I am in you, so therefore you're a god. I'm like, no, we're not nothing like God. And you know, again, they dictate biblical verses to make it sound like, you know, to fulfill the New Age propaganda. I mean, it's...
Right. And they're inconsistent, too, because if the Bible's good enough to support their belief, then you also have to be consistent and look at the other parts that say there's only one God, and God knows of no other gods formed before or after him.
Yep.
So what do they do with those kind of verses? They just throw them out and either say that they're corrupted, which they can't even prove with the manuscript tradition, or they just say it's a mistranslation. You know, anything to slither their way out of that, you know?
Absolutely. And the little, I mean, like they, I mean, I've met with some Jehovah Witnesses who say, when you're dead, and that's it. And I forgot the verse. They give me this one verse. So see, it proves it right there. I'm like, well, did you read the 2 verses before that? They read it, and it explicitly says, when you die, you go to your second life, or your second death. They were stumped because their ministers show them what they want to show them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they were stumped.
Deception by omission.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, all different religions, they, you know, confront people, and, you know, not in a bad way, but trying to wake them up to the truth and everything. And they contradict themselves. And when you show them biblical truth, they're stumped. They don't know what to say. Then they have to go back to the minister or reverend, wherever they are, to seek guidance. And of course, they manipulate the whole thing to lead them back astray. And I mean, it's a war out there, a war of ideology, and it's it's frustrating at times.
Exactly.
Truth Radio on WALE 990 AM, Greenville, Providence, Rhode Island. And it's 8 o'clock on Memorial Day weekend, and it's we got Keith Thompson from KeithTruth.com, and he's on the line right now. And his great interview, and continue. Good, Keith.
Okay, well, when you look at, like, Zeitgeist, their main source is a woman named Acharya S. And, besides the fact that Zeitgeist promotes the idea that Jesus represented Pisces and that Aquarius is, there's something really to that. You look at the writings of Zeitgeist's main source, Acharya S., and she outright promotes this concept that the New Age of Aquarius is going to be a time when humanity unites because of supposed cultural unity revealed behind the Christ conspiracy as she sees it. And it's pretty explicit in her writings. So it's like, even Zeitgeist's main source is promoting this. So what I really wanted to stress in this film is how yoked up with the New Age Zeitgeist is, because, that film, they appealed to the 9/11 truth and the anti-Federal Reserve movements. But then, once they got those people on board, they just discarded the 9/11 stuff. They don't talk about it no more. Peter Joseph said it's a position he's moved away from. So it's pretty much, he talked about it just so people will get on board with his, he's been planning to induct people into this One World Venus project since the release of the first Zeitgeist film. Because you can see when he talked to Mark Dice, his rhetoric was all, we're all one and we're going to have a paradise on earth. And so it's like, when you notice that he stopped talking about 9/11, it's like, it's very easy to see, that he was just using that as a way to get the 9/11 truth movement on board with what he was saying. But you won't hear him talking about that no more. And
no.
It's a very manipulative tactic that he used there.
Yeah, it is, and again, it's nothing but an angle, or stir per se, to hook the people in and lead them in. Get those people in those particular movements to be on board, like you said, and then right away hit them with the left, and with a quick shot to say, hey, your God ain't real, and it's promoting that Theosophical Society doctrines.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very
in the film we go over the history of Freemasonry, the Illuminati, and so we kind of give a background to what exactly the New World Order teaches and where it comes from, and then we start relating it to the Zeitgeist movement and a lot of these fake, controlled, supposed New World Order researchers in the movement today, and we really demonstrate that they're not teaching people things for their best interest; they're actually inducting them into New World Order beliefs.
Yep.
And it's like the fact that no one else really, people used to talk about this, like William Cooper, Fritz Springmeier, but they've all been taken out and have been replaced with these New Agers. And now the truth movement has just been completely derailed to hating Christianity, promoting this idea that we all need to unite in 2012. And what I'm trying to do with this film and with this research team that I've established is kind of restore that element of the truth movement that says, no, these beliefs are not true. They're coming from the Theosophical Society.
Yep.
There is no New Age. We don't need to unite and dismantle the Constitution. These things aren't necessary, And
while we're on this subject about uniting, I don't know if, obviously I know you can see through the lines what's going on here currently with the whole immigration problem. And, I personally think it's, the problem, reaction, solution needed to usher in the biometrics ID proposed by Schumer and Graham, and eventually to the RFID implant. Basically to push in the North American Union, here's the problem, here's the cause, and here's the solution. To usher in this North American Union, everybody chipped like animals, and I went to the State House in Rhode Island last Thursday. They had the Tea Party movement there, and they're pushing it. It's creating a racial war right now. That's all it's doing. And Jesus promoted peace. And we're about to go already to war with Mexico from all this propaganda going on. I mean, you got people down, they call them American patriots down there shooting at people coming over the walls and